Yep, yep.
both of them. So, not really pleased with the way the shaft looks.
No problem.
I had Callaway black out the shafts on the irons, so.
Interesting. So they're offering that as an option now? I got you.
No, I was told specifically, don't offer this to anybody else.
I got you. Good boy.
So in other words, you're sent the components to him, and then he takes the heads and look,
Drill them out, take the trail out.
and what shaft?
Well,
Oh,
he
to
wants
what?
you to use his draft pipe, the one he got made for it, and he's got a pipe up piston. That's what he got, that's what he got over there. But he had KDS,
Does Adam know he's doing this?
and he's no. They want swing weighted, the barrel look like crap,
Dude,
they're
you
drilling them out.
You need to send Adam to do that.
I mean, I'm gonna look like a,
What you got to look?
yeah.
What do you got to look?
It was not, you know what I mean? Yeah, I didn't use money.
I would just send Adam an email saying, hey, you know, Miura is known as top end.
Yeah.
Let me give you an example of your top end.
Yeah.
This just came into the shop.
Yeah.
Boom,
Okay.
and
Yeah,
then go,
okay.
and then just
Stand
boom,
out there.
boom, boom,
Yeah.
boom, boom, boom.
Yeah.
Just thought you should know. Look forward to talking to you again on the golfdirector.com.
Yeah.
Let it go.
Not bad.
I
think you can.
I'll take my final sunrise there near Carmel by the sea. It's Mecca with a sand trap, Valhalla with a green, and surely it's the sweetest spot my spikes have ever seen. So grant me one more day at Pebble Beach, the spot that shows mere mortals heaven still with it all. just what she'll preach. Send this soldier just once more into the breach. Just grant me one more day, another chance to play. God grant me one more day at Pebble Beach.
Everyone to the studio, please. Testing. Testing. Hello. Dr. Grind. Godfather. HR3. Come to the studio, please. It's time to go live.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Broadcasting from North Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, this is TGD Today. And now please welcome Hero the Third,
HR3.
Al Cloyd,
Dr. Grind.
George Honeycutt,
The Godfather.
And welcome, Golfing World. It's TGD Today, Pro Golf Talk Live with Hugh Roy III and George Honeycutt. Of course, one of my only few friends I have in this whole world. Thanks, buddy.
You're welcome, buddy.
Appreciate you being here.
Hey, we're in the same boat. We're in the same boat. So. Hey, I got a question for you before you get cranked
Here
up.
we go.
How about the tour caddies suing the PGA Tour over the bibs?
I think it's a good thing.
I think it's justified. I think it's going to get ugly.
Yeah, and it won't end up in an actual case because the tour caddies are going to take the lead and a suggestion that was made through another case, and they're going to ask for full financial disclosure by the PGA Tour. And once those documents are filed for disclosure, then there will be a settlement.
Well, I don't think there's any question because, I mean, the money that the tour makes off of those is ridiculous.
Yeah.
And, I tell you what, I remember when the tour caddies started their union, you know, how some would join, some didn't. Now all of a sudden everybody's part of the tour caddy. I think this is something that's going to – I mean, these guys have to travel just like the tour guys do. I mean, they're flying, driving, whatever, all over the place. I mean – if they're wearing it, they're advertising it. They need to get paid for it.
Just to give our listeners and viewers a little bit of a background, I don't have the full. I listened to Katrick the other night. He and John kind of went through it, and Katrick actually had a copy of the suit. But basically, it's the caddies have unified and filed suit against the PGA Tour in order to get compensation for them wearing the quote unquote bibs at each of the events and being a billboard for that particular event.
Sponsor, yeah.
Yep, and not getting any kind of financial return for that advertisement that they had spent several days doing.
Yeah, no, it's just a straight mandatory. You have to wear this if you're going to caddy in this event. And I think they've brought up and you know, seen the stuff that Mr. Fincham's put out about, you know, how they're independent contractors hired by the players. You know, I think it's going to get very interesting, and I think if he tries to hold that stand, he's going to lose.
The amount of the lawsuit is $50 million.
Yeah.
And so I venture to say that you'll see a portion of that be offered as far as a settlement. Then there'll be a counter offer brought back, and then again it will just slowly, you know, disappear behind the big mahogany doors.
It probably will, George. But I tell you what, this is going to go on for at least a year and a half.
Oh,
to
it'll be a while.
years.
Yeah,
I mean, this is going to get ugly. But
Well,
anyway,
let's talk a
get
little
into
golf, and I appreciate you bringing that up because really I wanted to do that earlier, but I appreciate you bringing that up. So, and it's going to be interesting to see, other than Vijay Singh, because I would expect him to be the only one that would speak up, because likewise with his suit, that's how his suit's basically getting worked out because he asked for full disclosure.
Yeah.
And so, but I'm wondering if any of the tour players jump on the side of the caddy.
I think you're going to see a tremendous amount of
Let's
them.
see. Let's see.
I don't
I think that'd be interesting.
because tour players are treated as independent contractors as well by the PGA Tour since it's a
But-
non-profit organization.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
we'll see.
We'll see. European Tour, of course, still going, full and strong. They are at the Maybank Malaysia Open in Kuala Lumpur Golf and Country Club. Beautiful place. Some varmints there, dude, that you don't go reaching your hand into the bushes.
No, no. You use a 2-iron to get your ball out if you got to go in a bush.
They're beautiful golf course. Just wonderful. It's amazing the elevation change. You think Malaysia, coastal town, coastal country, surrounded by water. It's just they've got some par fours out there that you're climbing 60, 70 feet in elevation.
I mean,
and
honestly,
the
George,
humidity.
Asia is one of the highest mountainous regions
yeah.
in the world, or is the highest mountainous region in the world. So I mean, you would.
Well,
expect
it surprised me. First time I went to Singapore is, of course, you're landing there at Singapore International Airport, and it's just you're at sea level. You know, you don't expect to see any mountainous terrains or whatever, and then again, you get just right outside of downtown, and my goodness. It's just like
it's pretty impressive.
Yeah, it's
yeah.
pretty impressive. So again, Kuala Lumpur Golf and Country Club, a beautiful, beautiful golf course. This year probably looks to be in the best shape that I've ever seen it. And as far as the presentation, the greens, just beautiful the way that they've gotten the golf course in shape for this tournament. You've got the likes of Westbrook, who kind of fell apart last week in Dubai. And now he comes back out day one, shoots 66, 6 under.
Shoot 66. He and Graham McDowell tied at 6 under, and I'd like to see Lee Westwood get back into form to where at least he has the opportunities. I mean, yeah, he hasn't won anything.
Yeah.
But he's played a good round, then he'll come back and shoot a 75.
Right.
And get him to where he's more consistent. Back in the form he was a few years ago when he was competing in the majors and doing a lot of good stuff.
Right.
Because the guy
He was
can
moving
play.
his way up the world rankings to inside of 10. And, he was able to put 4 solid days together and win tournaments.
Yeah.
Where now it seems like he'll have 2 really good days, Hugh, and then he'll have one kind of even par day, and then he'll have a really bad day.
Yeah.
And he'll lose his focus. And that's where I think it's like if you look at his play last week in Dubai, I mean, he had one bad hole, and he made a triple. And from the rest of the round, he couldn't have given a shit. He was just done.
Yeah.
That was it. He had cashed it in. And, of course, he ends up going out and shoot 78. And so, I would like to see him get back into that mode where for 18 holes he is just – because he's very focused. He's determined.
And he is focused, but that's where, like, we've talked about a lot, and I've said it to my students a number of times. You're focused as you walk up to that ball, and you focus on what's at hand. Once it's done – think about it for a second, make a couple of practice swings, and then start thinking about something else so that you can relax.
Mm-hmm.
Because you've got to be able to turn it on and turn it off like a light switch.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you go 90-0, it's not only going to last but about 12, 13 holes, and then you're fried.
Then you're fried out.
And so
Okay.
learning
Good
how
point.
to manage your emotions and your concentration levels and your focus.
The peaks and the valleys. Yeah.
Learn to separate it. Learn to get away from it. And as you walk back into the ring, then all of a sudden, boom, there you go. And,
Okay.
I mean by walking back into the ring, getting to your next shot.
And that's what Lee needs to do.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think the likes of a Graham McDowell, he's playing to the best of his ability, to the top of his playing capability. And although he's not the longest hitter in the world, he's not the best iron player in the world, he's not the best putter in the world, but Graham McDowell is just a bulldog.
He is.
And
there's
he's
no
very
quit.
even keel.
Yeah.
He's very even keel. There's no peaks and valleys.
And now everybody's talking about Roy right now and talking about how well he's playing. And, yeah, he's doing it. But, you watch him in between shots. He's not sitting there, okay, I got to do this for this. He's laughing and joking
Yeah, he's
with his
having fun.
caddy, and
Yeah.
he's just relaxed. That's what you got to do. You
Good
got to
point.
be able to turn it on and turn it off, and then get going.
Good point. Good point. Tommy Fleetwood's at -5. He shoots 67 along with Danny Chia and Shung Hu Kang. Is that right?
I have no earthly idea.
Okay, yeah.
Good try,
Okay.
though.
I got it. I think I got it. Alejandro Caniceres is at 4 under. Anders Hansen, Richard Bland, Richard Lee, Paul McGinley shoots 3 under. The Ryder Cup captain out there showing some game.
The guy can play, dude.
3 under par 69 for Paul McGinley, and he was having fun. It was every time he'd make a putt, he was laughing and walking off the green. He was having a good time.
And again, that's what it's about. It is a game, and you've got to enjoy what you're doing.
And interesting for him, it's almost like he gets invited to these things as an exhibition, but he believes in his mind he can still keep up with these flat bellies.
Well, he is.
So he is. He's playing to it. He's keeping up with them. So again, it's a lot of fun. This event offers us the opportunity very early in the morning of our time. We're able to. Again, I'm up at 2 a.m. this morning watching this thing.
You got to get a life.
I know, dude. It's sad. But, again, I enjoy it. It gives me the opportunity to really focus in, to watch these guys, to study how they're playing, to look at their course management skills, to see which ones have it and which ones don't.
Yeah.
And after you study them a while, you start to learn those that are on this tour, like a Nicholas Kozarks, for example. Nicholas came out just like a house of fire, gets to 4 under par, and then all of a sudden he starts taking a few risks, and he finds himself finishing at 2 under for the day. So he gave up a couple of shots to par, where he should have finished at 4 or 5 under, been right there at the top of the leaderboard. You sit and watch him. You watch a couple of the other guys, like Kuros. Kuros, my guy, the guy hits the ball so far. It's amazing to watch. He reminds me of a Jeff Ogilvy with his swing, just fluid and tall and lanky and almost a reverse C at the finish. But he just nails the ball. But he makes 1 or 2 decisions around that will cost him strokes to par, at least 2 or 3. And he finishes at 2 under for the day, and at one time he was at 5.
Yeah.
So
again, it's like I said, it's about having a game plan and sticking to it and not varying from it. And I think that's what's important. You create your game plans through your practice rounds. That's what they're for.
Right.
So it gives you the ability to understand, learn the golf course, see any changes that have been made, and be able to set yourself up so when you tee it up, you have the confidence to know you're ready to play. And the only way you vary from it is obviously weather or being the situation for the tournament. And that would be the only reason you ever even thought about varying from it. Because if you stick with it and it's working, why are you going to try to do something different?
Right. Agreed. Good point. Well, interestingly, they left the dry heat of Dubai, and now they're in the wet heat in Kuala Lumpur.
Yeah, we got some humidity there.
No doubt about it. No doubt about it. So we'll bring you up to speed on that tournament, of course, on Monday Morning Golf Wrap here on thegolfdirector.com. Speaking of a leader and a leaderboard, I watched this morning Miss Brooke Pancake. Love that name, dude. Love that name.
I thought you were joking with me earlier.
Brooke Pancake. And she just signed a new sponsor. She has the Waffle House. How about that? She's a pancake, but she signed on with Waffle House. Okay? We got them covered. Just put some syrup and some butter on it, and we're ready to go.
Oh, Lord.
Brooke Pancake goes out in the first 7 holes of the Pure Silk Bahamas LPGA Classic. They're in Paradise Island in the Bahamas. And she goes out and shoots 6 under par in the first 7 holes.
That's pretty flippin' impressive now. I'm
Day
gonna tell you
one,
what.
dude.
You birdie 6 out of the first 7. That's a pretty good
I
start.
don't care where you are. I don't care if it's putt-putt down the street here.
That's pretty impressive.
You know? Of course, she plateaus out, and she's now through 15, and she's still at 6 under par.
Well, good. She hadn't made any mistakes. She's just making pars, so that's fine. Yeah.
I mean, she throws another couple on there, and she's jumped out to, she's taking the speed train versus everybody that's coming up behind her in a coal train.
Yeah.
So,
well, she's put herself in a good situation. It's like we always say, you give yourself a chance and put yourself in those situations, and run with it.
Yeah.
Run with it, because I mean, even if she ends up shooting 6 under par, who cares? She shot 6 under. She's going to be right there at or near the top of the leaderboard. She's giving herself an opportunity to compete and try to win the golf tournament.
And this is one of those 3-day events, so she doesn't have to carry it for 4, so that's good. And again, they'll finish on Saturday. So Brentley Lincecum is at 4 under par through 12. Okay, we have an Azera Munoz sighting. Here it is. I just hate I can't tell you what she was wearing today, dude. I haven't got the update.
Oh, geez.
I'm waiting for my tweet to come in to let me know what she wore today. So, but Azera Munoz is at 4 under also through 11. He Young Park is at 4 under through 12. Sandra Gale is at 4 under through 10. And I'll go on down the list real quick and give you a snapshot. Basically, NB Park is at 3 under through 11. Natalie Gulbus is at 3 under through 10. Oh, my goodness. We've got a Natalie sighting.
No, at least
she's under par, dude.
She's playing decent. That's nice. I tell you what, the golf course looks pretty good, too, George. I mean,
it's a pretty golf course.
It is a
really
beautiful piece of property.
Yeah, no doubt about it. I'd like to go down and just kind of hang out for the weekend. We wouldn't have to play golf. We'd just go hang out.
I'd just like to take my wife and go somewhere on a vacation.
That would be nice, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
But my wife won't go with me. She'll go with somebody else, but she won't go with me. Moving on. So, again, the Pure Silk Bahamas LPGA Classic is currently ongoing at Paradise Island, Bahamas. Again, a 3-day event will be over on Saturday. So be sure to check this out. It's almost like you don't know if you're in Hawaii or whatever, but it's absolutely gorgeous.
It is beautiful.
Absolutely gorgeous. And that's currently airing, of course, on the Golf Channel. And you can check that out there. So, now, the Farmers Insurance Open. They are at Torrey Pines. You and I have played Torrey Pines multiple times, north and south. And this week is rather unique in the fact that you got Tiger returning back again for another week after his highest round ever posted in a tournament score.
Yes, sir.
Then you've got Phil, backyard. And now we got Dustin Johnson coming back after his personal time.
And I tell you what, George.
Do you like the way
I do, because I'm going to tell you what. Everything that I've been able to read and see about Dustin, and, you know, Dustin is a local boy here in Myrtle Beach. I consider myself a local boy now that I've been here almost 8 years. I've gotten to know a lot of people, and it's home. And so we all pull for Dustin. I think with the addition of his child, you know, and having a family, being away from the game and a chance to be around, I guess, his future in-laws. I figured he and Pauline are going to get married. You know,
I would hope
that
so.
He's had a chance to kind of grow up and understand what family values are and whatnot.
Right.
And because you look down at your son now, and that's your child.
Right.
So it changes things considerably.
Sure.
And, you know, he's been off for 7-8 months, however long it's been. You know, I think that with him being back this week, people thinking, oh, with Dustin, you know, go out and win it. I think his goals, if he sets honest, basic, just achievable goals, let's make the cut.
Mm-hmm.
Play solid, make
Agreed.
the cut, give myself a chance to play the weekend, try to play solid, build on that foundation so that you can start building the house. You know, you've got to have a foundation before you can ever start construction. And I think if he makes the cut, plays solid on the weekend, I think it starts building that foundation for his rest of the year on the tour, and we could see some really, really good things at him because we know the talent the young man has.
Yeah, just unlimited talent, no doubt about it.
Yes.
And not exactly. We've talked about this on several occasions, Hugh. You know, he wasn't the number one player here at college at CCU, Coastal Carolina University. He kind of fought and scrapped and bid his way onto that team and keeps staying on that team, and for whatever reason. And then all of a sudden, he's one of the chosen select few by working his way onto the PGA Tour.
Right.
You know, he's picked up by TaylorMade. He's Adidas, and they get behind him, and they start using him on all the billboards. And, you know, all of a sudden, he's a household name.
Well,
and
he's got a chance. He's got a second chance now, George, to rebuild his reputation and his brand and his name. And I think that if he goes out there and handles this in a way that I've got a funny feeling that the great one has, you know, told him, look, this is how you need to do this. And you know, let's get back into shape. He's, you know, I know he shot 61 playing with Wayne, you know, we're up there in Montana, wherever they were. And, he's been
And
playing golf.
I think
but
I think one of his decisions that he made in his off time to get ready to come back onto the tour in selecting and working with Butch. I think he couldn't have chose anyone better.
I think you're correct there, and I just want the folks that are listening to understand that you can go out and play golf and play and shoot some good rounds, but coming back to competitive golf is a different animal.
Well, that goes back to your commentary about Tiger the other day.
And it comes back to the simple fact, like I just said to Dustin, his main goal should be I've got to make the 2-day cut, give myself the chance to play on the weekend, and then run from there and try to build on this foundation.
Right. Well, let's look at some of the pairings that are going to go off at Torrey. Interestingly, they've got starting on the front side, Matt Avery, Gary Woodland, and Charles Howell at 9:20 a.m. and that's Pacific Standard Time. Okay, is that right?
Yep, and they're actually in a delay right now due to fog.
Due to fog. Okay. Also at 9:20 a.m. on the backside, Billy Horschel, Tiger Woods, Ricky Fowler. Interesting.
Yeah.
Which side would you go?
Well, I believe everybody's going to be on the back nine, but the thing is, I like the fact that the tour, and they can say luck of the draw, whatever they want to say, but to see Tiger getting to play the North Course first, will give him an opportunity to get out and try to shoot a decent score today, because that is the easier of the two.
Right.
That's a golf course. Now, it's not easy by any means. It's over 7,000 yards, but it's a golf course that if you get it going, you can shoot 64. Mm-hmm. And for Tiger just to go out and shoot 68 or 9 would be a nice plus to kind of get him going to jump into the South Course tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
Because that South Course is a beast.
Yeah, it's definitely tougher. It's probably 3 to 4 shots harder, no doubt about it.
And so, it's just putting on Poana greens.
Right.
It's not easy, and he's had the most success of anyone putting on those greens.
And notice, folks, to our listeners and viewers now, this is one of those few golf courses that actually the guys in the morning, right after the greens have been cut and rolled, they're going to be much easier to putt than the afternoon rounds because paspalum grows very quickly. And so you get some bouncing, you get some little clumps going on in the afternoon. So
paspalum, that Poana, they're bent Poana, and I'm telling you, when that Po gets to growing, it gets bumpy, and you see footprints, and it's pretty bad when you're standing over a 3-footer and all you see is where people have walked.
Right.
Because on the tour, folks, whether you want to understand or not, a lot of guys still wear steel and not soft spikes.
Yeah.
So, those greens are going to take a beating. And Poana does not take a lot of traffic very well.
But it's a fast-growing grass.
Oh, yes.
And from morning to afternoon, the stemp meter reading does change by a couple of feet.
Oh, yeah.
So you have to be prepared for that. And those that are playing in the morning will play tomorrow afternoon. Those that are at this afternoon will, again, turn right around after they get through this evening and play in the morning. So that's just the way the tour does it.
And, if and what you're hoping is basically what Tiger didn't get, even though he is getting to play on the North Course. You want to play the North Course in the afternoon, the first round, and you want the South early on the second round because the greens will be good.
Also, too, on the North Course, they put a pairing that I was very interested in, and they are all three playing together, so we're going to pay special attention to this threesome, and that's Brooks Koepka, Hideki Matsuyama, and Jordan Spieth.
That's a really good group.
That is the three firepowers right there.
The guys from last week that played the best. I mean, you've got a pretty good group there that a lot of folks will have fun
I'm not
watching.
sure if Koepka is,
We'll see how the downer is.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I was thinking.
We'll see how the letdown is. But I tell you what, I think after winning last week and as solid as he played, he's got to have confidence, something fierce.
Well, I had him on my pick 4 for the fantasy golf last week, and I hope Mr. Deal is listening, which Jeff Deal, of course, fantasy golf here on the Golf Director. And I thought about his down. Again, picking up his win, his first PGA Tour win, and now turning right around and heading from the Phoenix Waste Management Open, going out to Torrey. It's not far. He drove the rental car. So it's not far away. But, again, all the media requirements, he's got that win. But he's such a traveled experienced guy.
I don't think. Yeah, and I don't. That's where that's why I was saying earlier. I don't think it's going to bother him.
Yeah, I agree.
I don't. I think he's got the experience and understanding and knowing that, and I think he's going to be fine. It's just I think Jordan Spieth got to watch this week, though. I really, really do.
I have to agree with you. I put him back on my list again. He was there last week. I also put Hideki back on my list again. Hideki just, at times, that little swing pause he's got gets him in trouble, I think. He hits a little chunky. But just a solid player. I'm not real sold on the putting stroke.
Yeah.
Because he's got the same pause at the back of his putting stroke. And I think at times that
gets a little jabby.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think at times he loses touch on his distance.
Yeah,
and so
I just, this is a pretty good field, and
it's a real good field.
There's
it really
some guys
is.
that are playing in this, and San Diego is noted for the best weather in the United States, and they've got some fog this morning, but I mean the golf course itself will be phenomenal, and there's no better view in the world than standing on the 12th green, 13th tee, and watching the people hang glide out of the hang gliding building back there, that club that's back there off that cliff.
Yeah.
And, it's a beautiful place, and it's a chance to watch some great golf because both golf courses are very good, but that South course, like I said earlier, is an absolute beast.
Well, just look. I mean, it is going to play 3 to 4 shots harder. They'll come out with some stat probably tomorrow afternoon, and they'll show it playing like 1.69 more difficult or something like. It'll be under 2, but in all likelihood, it really works out to where in the mental aspects of it, it's a 3-shot difference golf course. There's no doubt about it.
I would say 3 to 3.5. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So, and again, we talk about the players that are in this thing. I mean, you've got again Russell Knox, who I think is just on the verge.
Yeah.
I mean, he's there. You've got all the Harrises and the English and these other young guns that have just been working their way into the limelight here on the PGA Tour. And, for many of them, it's just they just need to get over the top of that mountain.
I'd
just
like
need
to see a
crest
little
it.
more out of Morgan Hoffman.
Well,
there's a
another
young
one.
man that's
There's another
tremendous talent that has just really fallen off the wayside as average at best, and he's got to turn it around. And this is a kind of golf course to where he can play both of these golf courses and get himself back on track because he hits it long. He's got great control and got a phenomenal short game, and it would be nice to see him kind of pull it all back together and get himself going.
So let's look where DJ's playing. And interestingly, they put him with another couple of marquee players. He's playing at 10:30 a.m. He's teeing off on the South course, so they're starting on the harder course. Justin Rose, Jason Day, Dustin Johnson.
That's a good group.
That's a good group.
All TaylorMade.
Yeah. Isn't that nice?
I guess TaylorMade's loving that one.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, they're eating that one. I wonder how much they had to pay Fincham for that one. So, but again, great group. I'm looking on down. John Merrick is playing with Michael Thompson and J.B. Holmes. That's a good group. I mean, and here's the other player that I put on my fantasy for this week. And Hugh, you agree or not agree? You normally disagree with me, but they paired him with someone of said-like mentality, and I think it's only going to help him because they're playing the South course. They're starting on the South course today at 10:40 a.m., and that's Jimmy Walker is playing with Phil Mickelson and Bill Haas. So Jimmy and Phil, much the same mentality. They kind of, they just go around. They'll be their little quiet, smiling selves. And Bill, you just never know who's going to show up.
Yeah.
So, but I think that's a good pairing for them, even though they are
It's a
starting
marquee
on the
pairing without a question of a doubt.
Yeah,
It
but
definitely
I
is.
like the way Jimmy's playing. Of course, he won the Sony, and again, he's a West Coast guy, dude. He loves this West Coast swing.
And like you said earlier, this is Phil's backyard, and
I don't see Phil winning the tournament. I just don't see it. I think he'd be lucky if he makes the cut.
I tell you what, if he gets off to a good start, though, and he gets a little confidence rolling in this thing, I think we could see some pretty good stuff.
He's had problems with the one thing that Phil's been known for his whole life is being a good putter. And he's had problems putting.
Well, these greens are tough to putt now. I'm not going to argue that. They are some
But
of
I'm
the
talking
toughest.
I'm talking just over the last
Oh, I
couple
know.
of weeks,
Yeah.
and then at the end of the quote unquote calendar year, he was having issues, Hugh. And it's not like Phil to have issues. I mean, yeah, he doesn't know whether to press or not press or lay the hands behind the ball. He goes through those. But now at times, especially last week, he just looked like he was lost.
Yeah, he didn't look comfortable, and that's. But again, this is home, and I think he's got a chance to get himself righted. He does know the golf course extremely well. I would like to reach out and congratulate Kyle Stanley. He did Monday qualify and get into this event from here in South Carolina. Hopefully he plays well. He goes off at 9 o'clock this morning on the South course, so he's getting that earlier tee time on the harder golf course. So that'll be nice to watch and see how he plays, because he's playing with Jonathan Vegas. So,
That'll be a good group.
Yeah, and Sean O'Hare. So it'll be a pretty good group to watch.
There's a group going off on the North Course at 10:40 a.m. that I'm going to have some interest in, just personal interest. But it's because of the young kid that got put with the other two. Angel Cabrera is playing with Keegan Bradley and Scott Piercy. That's going to be an interesting group. Because Angel's not going to say a word to anybody, but yet he's just going to go doop-de-doop-de-doop-de-doop up the fairway. And then he's going to be watching Keegan over there doing the jitterbug behind the ball every time before he goes hit. And he's just going to be shaking his head like this going, what the heck is he doing? You know?
Yeah.
No comprende.
Yeah. Hurry up. Let's go.
And then Scott Piercy's just going to be sitting there just going at it at 131 miles per hour, putting 150 mile an hour ball speed on this thing and just ripping it. And so it's going to be interesting to watch. I'm wondering if Keegan's long, okay? There's no doubt about it.
Yeah.
Keegan Bradley can hit a golf ball. I'm just wondering how they, with Angel, who is not going to hit the ball that long, but he's just going to be, he's going to be ready to go. And Torrey is known notoriously for some slower rounds. No doubt about
it's
it.
slower rounds because, the golf course is not wide open, and the ball does not carry very far out there. Because, with the fog, like they had the fog delays this morning, that air gets thick, and the ball does not travel like normal. So, and they've got the Kikuyu type grasses where you can get you start missing fairways. Good luck.
Yeah. I'm curious. I've been kind of watching this guy too, Hugh, and we'll wrap things up here at Torrey Pines with this one. But this is a pairing I'm also going to keep an eye on, and that's Tony Finau, Mark Anderson, and John Curran. They tee off on the South course at 11 o'clock. And Tony Finau is, again, big break.
Yep.
He's the brother. Both the brothers have at one point in time been on pro tours. One's caddy for the other. The other's now caddying for this brother. And the story goes on. Tony is one of the longer hitters that are now out on the tour active. And he plays a little peeler, a little left to right, a little fade, and he still carries the ball at 301 to 308 every time he steps up to it.
Impressive.
He carries the 3-wood at 270, 275. So, I would like to see Tony. He's a good putter. He's got a good short game. I would like to see him pick up that early PGA Tour win and go ahead and establish himself, and then maybe move his name up the marquee ladder to get up there. It would be interesting to see him and his length capability and his size, much like Dustin, to get up there to where he could be considered for President's Cups, Ryder Cups type stuff.
And he'll have that possibility. But again, this golf course, these two golf courses here, George, if you're going to shoot a low score, you better jump on the North course quick.
Oh, yeah, dude.
Because that's where you're going to shoot your low score. And then on the South course, if you can get it around, 1, 2, 3 under, you've played it pretty solid.
I've always referred to the North course as the buffet and the South course as a la carte.
Yeah.
You just decide how much you want to pay for when you go to the South course.
South course, I'm telling you, you get to 12, 13 all through there, it is good luck.
Oh,
Have
yeah.
fun.
Yeah. TGD Radio and TV are produced and broadcast by the Zeus Radio Network for thegolfdirector.com. Whenever you visit The Golf Director, please be sure to navigate over to our featured course pages where you'll find up-to-date information about course conditions, specials, and much more. Hey, if you need help with your next golf vacation, just give us a call here at The Golf Director at 844-GO-GOLF-1. That's 844-464-6531, and just ask for Dave.
Just ask Dave.
All of our TGD programming is archived for listening and viewing on demand. To catch up on the show you may have missed, click on the TGD Radio or the TGD TV tabs in the menu screen at thegolfdirector.com. For my good friend Hugh Roy III, I'm George Honeycutt and Jeff behind the glass. We want to thank you for tuning in to TGD Today, and there's more in the golf news and information coming up next.